What is up, everybody? Luke Film Boss here, and today I'm going to be reviewing the Super Mario Bros. Movie. To just give you some of my main thoughts on the film real quick, I thought the film was hilarious and a whole bunch of fun, and it does what it's made to do. It's made to please the hardcore fan base while also entertaining kids and the general audience. The voice acting was actually pretty solid. It wasn't perfect, but even Chris Pratt, I thought, did something a little bit different with his voice than he usually does for most of his roles. And the animation is just amazing. It's not the best animation I've ever seen, but it's very, very pretty. It's colorful, it's crisp, and the action scenes are a lot of fun. And while the characters are mostly underdeveloped in one note, Mario is a very serviceable, likable character, and Bowser is just an icon. So I'm going to talk about my negative thoughts on the films before I get into the positives, and most of my negative thoughts on the film are the characters, and it's the fact that we don't get enough of them. Essentially every character except for maybe Bowser and Mario, and even them in many cases, are just used as pieces of the plot rather than actual characters. Most of their personalities and their motivations are just shallow and one note, and that's very disappointing. But Mario and Bowser are alright. First off, there's Toad, and his only purpose in the movie is to be a plot convenience to the other characters. For example, near the beginning of the movie, he's just there to help Mario find Princess Peach, and then towards the end of the movie, he's only there to give Princess Peach a power-up so that she can fight Bowser. That is essentially all that Toad does in this movie. He's there throughout the movie, but that's basically all he does. Next up is Luigi, and I'm really disappointed that this character didn't get more to do in this movie because he has a great personality and he has a nice little bond with Mario as brothers, and his voice just works very, very well. But aside from a few action scenes, he's really just locked up and caged for most of the movie, doing nothing, and he becomes less of a character and more of just a plot goal. And then we come to Princess Peach, who is easily the most disappointing part of the movie. The design of the character is great, just like the rest of the animation, and Anya Taylor-Joy does a good job of the voice acting, but as far as everything else, well, there basically is nothing else. Princess Peach has absolutely no chemistry with any of the characters in this film. All of her scenes with Mario just feel rushed and unnatural, and her interactions with the other characters are just a bunch of short throwaway lines and head nods. Peach has no personality in this movie, and her motivations are so simple that you can sum them up by saying that she doesn't want Bowser to hurt her toads, and she doesn't want to marry a monster like Bowser. And I mean, why not make her essentially invincible while you're at it? I understand why the writers chose to make Princess Peach a strong, capable princess, because the whole getting captured by Bowser and becoming a damsel in distress who has to get saved by a plumber is very degrading for the only lead female in the movie. But I think that the writers went to the other extreme by making her save everybody else, including herself when she's in trouble. The audience is never allowed to feel like Peach is ever in danger because whenever we see her, she always has the upper hand. Even when she's being held captive by Koopas, she finds a way to break free from them and help save the day. Every scenario, she always comes out on top. And it's made worse by the fact that there's nothing for us as the audience to grasp onto character-wise, because the extent of her character is that she's nice to Mario and she wants to protect her toads. And I'm honestly shocked that they didn't make Peach more interesting, because all of the pieces were there in the movie to make Peach an interesting character, quite possibly the most interesting character, and somehow they made her the least interesting. Throughout the movie, it's brought up that Peach knows absolutely nothing about human culture, despite the fact that she is a human. The movie explains that when Peach was a very, very, very young child, she somehow ended up in the Mushroom Kingdom and was raised by the Toads as one of their own. And please don't ask me why the Toads decided to make an orphan of a different species the ruler of their entire kingdom, because I really don't know. But the writers could have played off of all of the story elements that I just explained to you. Imagine if in the movie we see Princess Peach struggle with feelings of being out of place as a human in a Toad's world. Or maybe Peach feels 100% at home living with the Toads in the Mushroom Kingdom, but doesn't feel like she deserves the throne because technically she's still an outsider. Or maybe Peach just feels alone because there are no other people like her, and that's why she falls for a short, fat little plumber. These are just a few of the ideas that I have that could have made Peach a more interesting character in the film, but none of these ideas are ever explored. Instead, Peach just remains a generic princess who can conveniently fight her way out of every situation. To finish out on the negatives, I thought that the movie's pacing was very, very rushed, and while I do like some of the scenes and moments from the finale, I just don't like or understand why the filmmakers chose to bring the final battle to Brooklyn. There were a few more things that I had problems with, and a lot of little things that I could pick at this movie for, but I actually did like this movie, so I'm gonna start talking about the positives. First off, there is the Mario Bros. Mario and Luigi are just a bunch of fun in this movie, and I like the dynamic and chemistry that they have as brothers. It just makes the movie work pretty well because even though Luigi does just get turned into the goal of the plot throughout most of the movie, you are able to actually get invested with Mario's journey to get back his brother, and it just makes for a pretty solid time. That's definitely the glue that keeps this movie together for the most part. Next up there is Bowser, and he is just fantastic. His goals and motivations are a little bit basic, but Jack Black as well as the animators just bring so much personality out of this giant turtle that it just makes for a fun time. And he's an understandable crazy turtle. Not to mention those piano solos are like the best thing that I've seen since Puss in Boots 2. The animation visuals are very beautiful in this movie. They're so colorful and vibrant, and just they're so detailed and grand in scale that you almost forget that you're watching an Illumination film. The jokes and the humor in this movie are actually pretty hilarious. You can definitely tell that one of the main focuses that the filmmakers had for this movie was fun and comedy, and it works. I mean, if this movie wasn't so silly, it would be like 10 times worse. No, seriously. If you take out the over-the-top silliness and the jokes from this movie, it would not be enjoyable. This next part is kind of a positive and a negative because the music in this movie is very strange. On one hand, I love the score. I love how the movie uses music from the Mario games and incorporates it into each individual scene in a very effective way. And then you just got random pop songs and other songs in here. Like, you got AC/DC in here, you've got Hero, you've got Take On Me. It's like some of these song choices are very uninspired, and you can kind of tell that that's kind of Illumination's touch in there. And then you have the Mario music, and it's like, this is what I came for. This is amazing stuff. So the music, while most of it is great, there is a little bit of it in there that's just kind of like trying to play off the fact that you like these popular songs, and I didn't really like that. But the music is great. Lastly, I just have to congratulate the filmmakers on making a movie that respects and pleases the fans while also using the elements from the video game in a fresh, unique way without making the film a complete disaster like the live-action Super Mario Bros. There's one more thing I have to talk about though, and that is the message and the themes of the movie. And this is where I'm most mixed because while they are there, the movie just doesn't do anything with them and actually kind of undermines them in a few scenes. The main themes of this movie are feeling small and insignificant while also not ever being able to please or be good enough for your father. And on paper, these are simple themes, but done right, they can work incredibly. Unfortunately, this movie couldn't give two cares about the themes that it presents. The movie establishes Mario's struggle to show his self-worth to his father, and Donkey Kong even shares the same exact struggle. But anytime that this movie gets close to touching on this theme in a meaningful way, it either turns it into a joke or rushes right into an action scene. By the end, the conflict between Donkey Kong and his father is resolved by Donkey Kong saving his father from being burned up in lava, and with Mario, it's resolved by Mario and Luigi stopping Bowser. These are not compelling conclusions at all. I was also disappointed that the extent of Mario and Donkey Kong's relationship was just, we don't like each other, but we'll help each other. I really thought that we were going to see Donkey Kong and Mario find some common ground in the fact that both of them struggled to impress their fathers, and then they were slowly going to become friends. But that subplot gets sidelined in order to make some semi-funny jokes, and then Donkey Kong and Mario just go smash some Koopas, and that's the end of their relationship. To conclude my thoughts, the Super Mario Bros. Movie is a fun, colorful family adventure that respects the fan base of the game. It's nothing more and it's nothing less than a serviceable film that will entertain casual moviegoers and get the hardcore fans to geek out. As a hardcore movie fan, I can easily point out silly writing choices and underdeveloped characters in this movie, but I'm just glad that the movie is actually pretty decent and it's a fun time. And this movie is quickly becoming one of the most spectacular examples of a fan base loving and supporting a movie that was made for them, the fans. And that makes me happy. I am Luke Film Boss, and I give the Super Mario Bros. Movie a 70% out of 100, but am extremely happy if you think the movie is a 10 out of 10. Thank you all for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and hit that notification bell to help you be on the lookout for more videos from Luke Film Boss.